What we're going to see in this clip here is Director Travis Stovall. And Director Stovall has been pretty much the great pontificator on this TriMet board. I mean, he puts in the most comments, the most feedback. He's very talkative, very personable, always has that smile on his face. Now, over on the Twitter feed, and there's a very, very lively discussion group of TriMet people, TriMet geeks, I guess you'd call us, on the Twitter feed. Very, very lively over there. And they range from the very pro, TriMet is perfect, the greatest transit agency in the world, to the, well, TriMet's not as good as it makes itself out to be group. And people will say, well, I'm anti-TriMet. I'm not anti-TriMet. I never was anti-TriMet. I'm anti this current administration, TriMet, and where they're taking this company. That's what I'm anti. Never had any problem when Fred was in charge with any of the management there. Never. So anyway, over at that Twitter feed, one of the people that we chat with had found some interesting material about Travis. Apparently, he's into some very strange administrative stuff. I don't know, power of positive thinking or whatever. Somewhat laughable, actually. It seems a little bit crazy. But at these board meetings, he seems to be the most engaged TriMet board member of all the board members, and he seems to be the most accessible of all the board members. And you know, I guess he has as much vote as anybody else there. So I'm not sure if it's an act or it's a setup. I can't tell what it is with him at the moment. Time will tell. Anyway, let's watch what Stovall has to say.
Of course, it was a little more contentious because of the service cuts and the increases in fares. This year's budget is a little less contentious, and that's welcomed. But I do want to say that I believe this process was something that I thought was very thorough. We started with our finance and budget committee that got together and did a lot of things, but then we took it out to the public. And again, as President Warner mentioned, I want to commend Opal and Bus Riders Unite for their efforts. I know Jared spent a lot of time reviewing the budget and made some highlights. You know, it was mentioned during some of the comments that we're an organization that is not listening. And while everybody's perception is their reality, as a board member, that troubles me a little bit as an individual who is going out, spending time with individual groups, individuals on both sides of the proverbial aisle, and listening and making changes and adjustments as we go through this process. Last year we added based on Board Member Consuelo's or Saragosa's recommendation, we added the dollars to that new program, which we were commended on this morning from Central City Concern. That to me is something that we're listening. And some of the things that Jared and his team pointed out in regards to some inconsistencies, those changes and things were adjusted. And so as we move forward, we will continue to look at the transparency issue. We'll continue to look at the issues of working together and making sure that we're listening. And that's something that you'll have my personal commitment as a board member for, and I will continue to get out and about to make sure that I hear some of those concerns that are going on, and the rest of the board is also committed to doing that same thing. But again, I want to commend everybody in their engagement as we've gone through this process and encourage it. Next year, we'll be going through another budget. Who knows what the issues will be at that point in time, and we don't want to lose this engagement that we've created. And again, I'll make the commitment to be open and available, and to ensure that that you're being heard. Now, I can tell you that you won't always get what you ask for specifically, but it's something that as I walk away from the table after every board meeting, I want to make sure that I'm being fair in what we deliberate here, and that's the goal, and listening to all parties. And so again, I want to just close by again commending everybody along this process, the board members, the staff, and everybody else that's put in their efforts to make this process something that will continue to improve as we go forward.
Well, there you have it, folks. I don't know, he's talking about this great process, this great engagement. What engagement? I haven't read anything about any engagement. Have anybody seen anything about that? What's he talking about, engagement? I know that Opal had some kind of a deal with them, and I haven't listened to the Opal testimonies yet. I'm getting to that. The only concern I have, first of all, Opal is probably the best advocacy group in the area. A little concerned that they're going to legitimize these people who don't deserve legitimization. But let's see how that works out. I'm not going to throw that whole thing out the window until I see how that whole engagement with Opal actually turns out. They're the only people I know that were engaged in this process. I don't, unless I'm missing something. I mean, I watched all the media clips. I watched the Twitter feeds. I watched Michael Anderson's feed. I watched Joe Rose's feed. I watched all the people that are related, all the people that put trimet into their hashtag. I keep an eye out. So I don't remember seeing anything about any engagement in the trimet budget process. He also mentions the transparency issue. He's going to keep an eye on the transparency. There is no transparency at trimet, okay, Stovall? You can keep talking it, just like McFarland. You can keep using the word. But we out here in blog world know you're full of fucking shit because there has been no transparency. There's no sign there's going to be any transparency. So you're just full of shit when you say you're going to keep an eye on the transparency. We need to see, I don't want to see the word. I want to see some actual evidence of transparency. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. When you listen to him, it sounds like your typical TriMet board bullshit. We did everything right. We engaged the public. He had all the right words, but the reality is the opposite. It's always the opposite.